hey man, yo, Quintavious, come out here.
That sucks.
Who the fuck settle on Quintavious?
He's here to subvert expectations.
Yeah. This motherfucker changed his name to Quintavious. I was like, no, not yet.
No.
Can't even play Fortnite.
You gotta delete some games, man.
This math is confusing. We will start on 5.
3. Welcome to the XYZ podcast. I am millennial producer Tony. Joining me, as always, are Gen X Brian.
Hello, everybody.
And Gen Z Winston.
What it do?
Welcome, everybody, from an early
morning. Early morning. I almost went for good morning, everybody, but I suppose it doesn't matter whenever you're listening to this.
You should have gone to Good Morning Vietnam. That would have been a lot better.
Good morning,
Vietnam.
I don't know if I can say that though, right?
Well, I mean, you are a white guy sitting in front of like
a microphone. That's true.
You're halfway there.
And then Tony's like, "Why'd you not say good morning to me? What the hell, man?"
Whatever.
That's it. That's how I'm greeting Winston here on out.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Oh my gosh. Thank you everybody for joining us. This is a very unexpected Saturday morning podcast. Be prepared for some Saturday morning topics. But
I'm still in my PJs.
I put on PJs.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
I got my like silky
for those
PJs on.
Yeah, man, you've got Hugh that speaks Hugh Hefner meets the Magic Kingdom vibes going on with those PJs.
There's no bunny girls, it's just mice girls.
Mice girls.
You got round ears instead of tall ears.
Exactly.
Well, I've got a cup of coffee though. No bourbon this morning. It is a cup of coffee.
Not an Irish coffee?
No, that's what are you drinking? Vitamin water?
No, it's just water.
That's what it says on it. It's
exactly
just water.
It's just water.
It's water in a box.
Water.
Yeah, it's box water
from Jaden Smith. It was.
Oh, jeez. Why are you buying his products?
Okay, well, let me explain. It's a weird purchase. So last night I had a friend over, our buddy JR. So we took him to go get some food, and then we're like, "What the Whole Foods is right there? Let's head in." So
Whole Foods water.
Yeah. So we were walking around. We're like, "We're in Whole Foods. We might as well spend some money, right?" And we're just like, "Yeah."
It's not hard.
So, right. So we start looking for random stupid stuff to buy, and we walk past like the water section. And I turned to my roommate Josh. I was like, "Yeah, you want some Just Water?" He was like, "What's that? Is that the Jaden Smith one?" I was like, "Yeah." And it's funny because Just Water is one brand where it's in a box, and then right next to Just Water is Box Water. It's just called Box Water, and it looks like it's in the milk carton.
Yeah.
And so we're like, okay, well, Box Water is $189 and Just Water is $169. We should probably get Just Water, right? He was like, "Well, yeah, it is water." And I was like, "All right." So we bought.
What do you want to get? I just need water. No,
yeah, I just want water. Yeah, just water.
Just water.
So,
are you sure?
So we bought Just Water, and we got in the car, and then Josh opened it up for the first time. He drank it, and he was like, "Huh. Can't believe I spent money on this stupid shit because it's literally is just water."
Truth in advertising. It did not try and tell you it was anything else.
Yeah, and then he took another sip. He goes, "Damn, I finally see what Jaden Smith is talking about. Maybe I am gay." And then I took a sip. I goes, "Can we talk about the socio-political economic of the world right now?" And then Josh said in return, he was like, "Yeah, sometimes I wish Tupac was my dad." For those who don't get it, these are all references to what Jaden Smith had said before.
Okay, because I have no idea what you're talking about. Gotcha.
These are real things Jaden Smith has said. There's stuff we can dive into, like the Will Smith family situation. But yeah, that's the gist of it. But yeah, we got Just Water, and we were like, it's a terrible purchase.
What's it taste like?
It tastes like just water.
It tastes just like water. Yeah.
Well, I mean, not to give him any plugs, but at least it's in a box. I mean, the plastic bottle situation's out of hand in this country.
That's good, but I want to know what the thought process is behind the box water. A milk carton has to be the worst drinking receptacle ever invented.
Yes.
I've never had one. Like I've never had it in a carton.
Uncomfortable.
Wait a second.
You're tasting cardboard.
But wait. Okay,
what did you get?
Yeah,
what did
there
you
you
drink
go.
at school for?
That's exactly
lunch?
what I was thinking. Yes.
You guys won't believe this. When I was a kid in Vietnam, the school does not offer breakfast.
No,
not breakfast for lunch. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't get milk. It's Vietnam. It's just water.
Really?
Just water.
What about when you came over
An
here?
intentional callback.
I
know you're at a private school, but what did they serve for
For lunch,
drinking liquid at lunch.
Drinking
nothing.
liquid.
They don't give you liquid at lunch. I went to a poor Christian school, so like if you buy lunch
In a
from
cave.
them, you get one of those paper plate that's split into 3 sections. You get like say like a mashed potato, and then you get some vegan chicken or something, because all the food was like vegan type of food, so you never got real meat.
Vegan
And then
meat.
like Vietnamese, and then you get like say like some baby carrots, and then you're like you're gonna have to just drink water from the water fountain, or if you have money, you can buy a soda from the soda machine.
Oh, your school sucked.
Yeah, my school was terrible, so
I
that's
guess,
why I say I've
we live
never
in the
had
land of
milk.
cows. So, yeah, there's,
Again, Brian, it's just me and you. We
Yeah.
just you had tiny little cartons of milk for
Yeah.
lunch.
yeah, they were like,
Yeah.
I don't even know how to, like, and they would come in
Well,
the milk crates.
You know
Funny
what?
enough. Yeah.
Now that I think about it, they did give us drink, but they didn't give us milk. They gave us juice in a box with a little straw that goes on top. And if you're really nice, and sometimes they'll give you Capri Sun, and then that's it. But it's all juice. It's never.
We had the occasional orange drink in the cart, but it was also in the milk cartons. There are
It was
these
also
little
in the
tiny
milk
milk
cartons.
cartons. Yeah, and Tony's right. You
Ah.
had to fold the cardboard in a certain way to open them up, and they and then you drink your
and
milk
it
out
just
of
tastes
those.
like
It was-
cardboard the whole time.
Yeah.
It just was weird. It was like waxed cardboard, I guess. I don't
Ugh.
know.
It was.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you got yours from whatever local dairy was nearby.
Yeah,
Yeah, so did I. So you had your choice of a whole 2% chocolate milk, which everybody got.
Mhm.
There was an occasional assortment of strawberry sometimes.
Ooh, you
Oh,
guys
that
are
fancy.
fancy.
So
We did not have.
yeah.
We
We
did not
had
have-
you had to pay extra
Oh,
if you
geez.
wanted orange drink, lemonade, or iced tea.
Oh
but they
man,
all
we didn't have
also
any of
came
that
in.
stuff.
You guys got iced tea? That's
Man,
pretty cool.
Gallagher's up in PA, local dairy there. Gallagher's great. It's their iced tea is so good. They do a half and half, which is
Ooh.
half iced tea, half lemonade.
Yeah.
That whenever I go up to visit family or my family comes down to visit me, we come back down with like 2 or 3 gallons of Gallagher's tea.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Arnold Palmer, right? Isn't
Yeah, I
that?
was gonna say
It is in
yeah.
Arnold Palmer, which again is funny because
Did he invent it?
45 minutes away is where Arnold Palmer was born and grew up in Latrobe. So the
Oh,
local airport is the Arnold
Ah.
Palmer Airport. So
that's pretty cool.
yeah,
So
Why is it
Arnold,
called Arnold Palmer anyway? Was he the one that started the drink?
Yeah, he was a
half and half.
golfer. Yeah, and he started the half and half. I just saw that he actually, well, he's dead, I believe now, but he
Yes.
still makes a ton of money on the Arnold Palmer brand of tea. I guess
Yeah,
people do
yeah.
use that name, so he
They
gets
do.
credit for it. Huh. Well, we weren't going to talk about milk drinks and stuff.
Well, I was
It
gonna
being-
say we can turn it.
We're
I mean,
gonna-
Saturday morning, right?
we're
It's
gonna
like-
turn right from milk into cereal.
Yeah.
because it is
All right.
Saturday morning.
Pause before we go on. Do you guys put the milk in first or the cereal in first?
Good question.
cereal
Okay.
all the way.
Always cereal.
Okay, yeah. If you put milk in first, you're a freaking psycho.
Yes,
Yeah.
agreed.
I like to put orange juice in my cereal sometime, but that's just
You're
me.
one of those people?
Well,
No,
no. It was a joke. It was a
Okay,
joke.
well, no, because I've heard of people that do that.
That's
I've heard
disgusting.
people
That don't
who
like
also-
milk.
I've heard people who use water because
I've heard of that too.
They've just said it's just the wet. That's what you're getting. It doesn't matter what kind of liquid it is. It's just making the cereal. I'm like,
that's-
no, absolutely not. That's insane.
Well, yeah, especially if you go into Cookie Crisp. That was like the Cookie Crisp cereal. Remember,
Yeah.
they're like little chocolate chip cookie. We wonder
Oh,
why we have an
yes.
obesity problem in this country. We were gonna be like, kids, you gotta eat breakfast, but we're gonna make you little tiny cookies and you eat those.
The
It was so-
American cereal
yeah.
system has done that. They went, oh, we can have cookies for
Mhm.
breakfast. What about candy? Reese's Puffs. Make those. It's the same thing. You're good.
Yeah, instead of breakfast, we'll get
Uh.
cinnamon toast. No, cinnamon toast crunch. Although that came later. I don't believe that was not an
CTC.
original cereal. That came along, I think, when I was growing up. I remember when that was
80s?
new.
Okay, so
I'll look
all
that
right,
up.
I'll ask this question. What do you guys remember or think was your very first cereal you ever ate? Because I know for a fact what mine is. Like I still do.
Wow. So, we can talk about Saturday morning cartoons too in a minute, but that's where all this stuff was advertised.
Yeah.
My mom would let me pick out whatever cereal I wanted, which was
Oh, really?
awesome as a kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that was the highlight of the grocery trip is
Yeah.
going down the cereal aisle and I could pick out whatever I wanted. So I've had a lot of them. I don't know that. I mean, I really switched it up a lot of times and had a lot
Like,
of
what
cereal.
was the first one? Do you remember?
I can't say I remember
Oh,
that.
okay.
I don't think I could
I-
recall my first cereal.
I mean, I remember a lot of Captain Crunch in the beginning. Peanut butter
Okay.
Captain Crunch, actually.
Oh, no,
Ooh,
those are
way to
good.
go. Yeah.
I can actually vividly recall what my very first cereal was, and it's because living in Vietnam, there's no okay. This sounds super dystopian to you guys for sure, but there's no like grocery store. There's like no Walmart
Mhm.
or like Target. It's like if you want to buy groceries and produce, you go to the market and they
Like an
sell
outdoor
fresh.
market?
Yeah,
Mm.
and they sell like fresh produce, and you can buy every type of thing you can think of there. You can buy meat, you can buy fish. It's all in the market, and it's really cool the way it's laid out because it's like, oh, the meat vendor have this section of it's just a big alleyway. That's all a market is. It's a big giant alleyway, and the meat vendor have a little corner where they sell all the meat, like pork, beef, and all that. Then the fish vendor has a separate alley that is just for them because it's always super freaking wet because like all these fishes are put into giant like
Tubs of ice and things like that.
no, what do you call it? It's a big like circular bowl. What is that called?
Aquarium.
No, it's not an aquarium. It's like
A
stuff
bucket?
a bucket. That's what it is. I lost
Bucket
my
of fish. That's
yeah.
a different bucket of fish.
But it's not a tall bucket. It's a wide circular bucket, and they just have fishes swimming in there.
Mhm.
And it's like if you buy one, they'll freaking just grab the freaking fish out of there and they'll ask you, "Do you want the head?" And you're like, "No," and don't just chop it off right in front of you. You get the freshest food the whole time. But
Wiggling in your
anyway,
bag as you're taking it home.
yeah, no, quite literally. And they'll scale it for you and everything too. It's super
Oh
cool.
wow.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, like I would walk through the market all the time. But with that being said, so there was no grocery store. But I remember my mom was able to go to a convenience store somewhere in the city and brought back a box of cereal. I was like, "What is that?" And she was like, "I got this for you. It's cereal." I was like, "Oh, I have no idea what the hell that is." I was like, "What, 4 or 5?" It's a box of Fruit Loops. That was my
Ah,
first ever cereal.
Fruit Loops are
It's a
good.
good
And
pick.
and I think she just bought it on a whim because I never had it before. And so she just bought it and she was like, "Yeah, you just put milk in it." And I was like, "How do you even know this?" That's the real question, right?
Sorcery.
Yeah, and so I pull it out, I tried it instantly, and I was eating it. I was like, "This is the greatest freaking thing ever invented." I was like, man, like this is what America is about. You could eat this every morning. Sign me the fuck up. Like I love it.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. And I was like, I remember I was eating it and I was like, this is so good. And so I told my mom, I was like, we need to go see what other stuff there is. And so she took me one time to this like convenience store. I remember looking up, they had the Kellogg cornflakes, which is the big green chicken, right?
Mhm.
Like I was like, that looks good. I want to try it. I got it. I was like, this is terrible because it's not sweet at all.
Right.
Yeah, because it's just cornflakes. I'm like, this sucks. So I try to, go through the bag.
They were
And
supposed
then
to stop you from jerking off.
oh, that's right. Also, circumcision in the US was because of the Kellogg brothers. Because
I might
yeah,
say circumcision is probably biblical. I'm sure the
right,
Christian
right,
values brought over was more of
right.
that, but
But they were Christian, and he was like, listen, you want your kids to stop jerking off? Cut off the foreskin. And then it was just like, and eat cereal. That's how you serve.
and
That's how
eat
you save them
bland
from
food.
eternal
Yeah.
damnation. Yeah. But anyway, circumcision
Cornflakes and
aside.
graham crackers.
I was gonna say we never failed to make this podcast
Yeah,
PNC
at
because
Not
we
23
at
just
all.
minutes
talking
in,
about
23
cereal. How
minutes
do
in,
we
that's
get to
all I'm saying.
circumcision? Yeah.
I'm to blame on this one.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
After I finished that, the very next box I got was
Cornflakes.
frosted
Frosted
flakes
flakes.
No, but it's just
because
cornflakes.
no
Sorry.
frosted flakes
With
because
my boy Tony.
exactly, and that was the reason
Yeah.
why I got it. I was like, that's a cool ass looking tiger. Give me that
Cartoon
shit.
mascots,
Yeah.
man. We're not
Yeah.
Get ya.
advertising to kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can Sam Tony the Tiger?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But
far. And then Lucky the Leprechaun. We haven't got the
I don't know. I
Man.
never
What it's going back to jingles? What a good freaking jingle.
I haven't heard that. I haven't heard the
Heart
jingle.
stars, horseshoes, clovers and blue moons, pots of golden rainbows, and the red balloons.
This is Lucky Charms.
and purple
It's-
horseshoes. I remember when they
It's
added
my
that.
Lucky Charms, the magically delicious.
Oh God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then
That's
they'd
really
add
good.
it like as a kid that jingle was pounded into my head. And then I remember when they added purple horseshoes, they had to like modify the
Mhm.
jingle to add that on the end of it.
I got to the US finally when I was like 11, 12. And the first cereal, I'm like, I got high expectation. I was like, you guys freaking made cereal. I want the best of the best. I got to freaking America, staying with my brother in his apartment. He's like, hey, I bought this box of cereal for you. I'm like, great. I love it. It's a box of freaking Kellogg Life. freaking no, not Kellogg Life. I'm sorry. It's the Kellogg one with the dry strawberries in it. It's like it looks like cornflakes, but it's not cornflakes.
Special K?
Special K. That's what it is. Yeah, freaking stinks. I hate it. I was like, this shit's not sweet at all.
Well, I was gonna say if you started out with Fruit Loops, man, it's all downhill from there.
Right, but Fruit Loops isn't even as good anymore because it's not sweet. It used to be way sweeter. I think like I don't know, some change in there.
Now, to be fair, there are differences in international products.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
okay.
it may have been a slight difference in whatever they're selling in Vietnam as far as Fruit Loops.
That's true. Because I'll describe this to you. The Vietnamese Fruit Loops, the closest I've gotten to it was Trix, but Trix is like so sweet. That's why I don't ever eat it anymore. And it's for kids.
Trix sucks anymore. Trix sucks because they went back to round shapes. They were better in the 90s when they were all different shapes.
Oh, really? There was different shapes. I didn't know that.
They're like the banana, like the yellow pieces were shaped like bananas, and like they were all were all different shaped pieces, and it was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So, what do you eat cereal now?
Me?
Yeah,
occasionally. Funny enough, shout out to my girlfriend. She got me a box of Fruity Pebbles the other day, or like not too long ago. So
that's what I got in my cupboard right now.
Yeah,
it's one of my go-tos. Yeah,
I didn't know that Fruity Pebbles are made from rice. Like I watched how it was made the other day, and I was like, what?
A lot of cereal is rice and corn, man. That's what was plentiful. That's that's everything is you got Rice Krispies, which even those are
corn or wheat.
Yeah.
What's a wheat cereal?
The wheat cereals is like Special K, right?
No, like Sugar Puffs.
Sugar Smacks. That's
Smacks?
the frog. Sugar Puffs, Sugar Smacks.
Sugar Smacks is the frog. Sugar Puffs is the bear. But it's a puffed It's a puffed wheat cereal.
Rice. Oh, okay.
That's one of my favorites too. You
really?
get them in the weird foil bag because otherwise, if you get any amount of moisture in there once you open it, it becomes a solid brick.
Yeah,
and you can no longer eat it in a bowl.
What are your feelings on shredded wheat?
What is shredded wheat?
Frosted shredded wheat, good as long
frosted,
as it's
frosted mini wheats. Yeah, frosted mini.
Oh,
wheats.
mini wheats. I hate it. I hate it. I'm so anti it.
It is like eating straw, but it's I like it. I like a good frosted mini wheat, especially if you get like a strawberry one and stuff. Now they got different flavors. That's one that I'll eat dry. That's one I don't even have to put in a bowl. It's a good snack.
You know what my go-to to eat dry cereal is? Frosted Flakes.
Yeah.
So good. Frosted Flakes dry is the best thing you could eat. It's just so smooth and crunchy and sweet.
Again, the joy of cereal is you've got choices.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to go in a bowl and be wet. You can eat it dry.
It's like it's so funny because I remember the first time I go to like a Publix here and I walked down the cereal aisle. I'm like, this is what the free world looked like.
That's it. That is the picture of freedom in America. Is the cereal
the cereal choices? Yeah,
the real American dream is buying whatever.
I love getting your perspective on stuff like this because it's just like for me and Brian, that's just childhood.
Yeah.
Is going down there and getting to pick a box of cereal for the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
The funny thing was because I had access to all the cereals, with two cereals I ended up really liking were Grape Nuts and Cinnamon Life like those two, like after having a lot of different cereals, I was like, those are good.
Cinnamon Life is good. Now my grandmother used to buy regular Life and sprinkle cinnamon in it, which it's not the same at all. There's still no sugar. And when you put cinnamon in liquid, it just clumps. So I suggest if you want to eat Cinnamon Life, just buy Cinnamon Life.
Yeah, not homemade Cinnamon Life.
No.
I was gonna say, how do you guys feel about Honey Nut Cheerios?
Had those for quite a lot. That was that was a good one.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, regular Cheerios not great. When we had kids, you can feed kids regular Cheerios, so we had those.
But kids could eat it. It just tastes so bland, in my opinion.
But when you're a baby without teeth, no, regular Cheerios. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
You want an underrated one? Go look up Apple Cinnamon Cheerios.
Apple cinnamon.
They're harder to find, but man, are they good.
We're sitting here talking about cereal. I'm hungry.
Yes, I've seen this. Yeah, I've seen this.
Super underrated.
Right. It's like remind me of Apple Jacks.
Kind of.
Yeah. Did you guys ever eat that?
Oh yeah, Apple Jacks are good. Apple Jacks are good.
big campaign in the 90s. Lots of commercials for Apple Jacks.
Right. And
Kids
that's
talking
that's
to their teachers and their parents. They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you don't get it. It's not supposed to taste like apples."
yeah. And then there was the Kicks. They start, yes, that started being the like, okay, we need to market to the parents too. So what was it? It was Kicks. Their slogan was kid tested, mother approved.
Kicks
It
are
was
good cereal.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Kicks.
kicks are pretty good. But yeah, Winston, so when we would sit down and watch cartoons on Saturday, it was
Yeah.
just an assault of advertising. I mean, that's really what
Oh
it
my
was.
gosh.
I mean, you look back now and you're like, yeah, that's why they had all these mascots. They had colorful characters. Even
Yeah.
I remember this. This is funny. Back in, I was definitely older. They had a Super Mario Brothers cereal. This is probably when, Tony, do you remember the Super Mario Brothers cereal?
Now, I'm not sure if I'm thinking the same one that you are, but I do remember, and again, I was past this, but I'm a person of the internet. Do you remember there was a split box? There was a split box of cereal that half of it was Super Mario Brothers and the other half was Legend of Zelda.
Oh no, that must have been
What?
after the original ones. That's fun. No, like kind of like Nerds, the candy, like split like that, like down the
It
middle.
looks like that.
Oh wow,
That's pretty sick.
But what's funny about the Super Mario Brothers cereal is that I remember like I was in high school and I remember pouring a bowl, like going in and pouring a bowl of cereal and eating it, and I'm like, man, this is kind of gross.
Yeah.
Then I realized after I finished the bowl
It
that the milk was expired.
Oh,
Not the cereal, but the milk.
Oh.
So now I have a serious. I'm very, very paranoid about when the milk's going to go bad.
Oh,
but it was all
God.
based on eating a bowl of Super Mario Brothers cereal when the milk was bad. So
That's
like
hilarious.
hey, I made that mistake once.
I don't think I've ever eaten expired milk, but I was gonna say
You would know it. I mean, your
Oh,
nose
for
should
sure.
probably do it. Oh my goodness, there's a
Oh, that
box
looks pretty
of
freaking
yeah.
cool.
So that's as Tony's
Yes.
sharing the box of cereal, Zelda and
Fruity
Mario
cereal
Brothers.
and berry cereal.
That's pretty sick.
And while
Basically,
I've got
Captain
you
Crunch
here,
on the left. What were the round balls that were fruity? Kicks, tricks.
Tricks.
tricks were
That's
just
pretty
two different varieties of tricks. Yeah.
If you
Before
can't
I-
eat them.
While I've got this up here, let me ask. We're talking cereal. We're talking mascots. We talked Cinnamon Toast Crunch, which was debuted in 1984, 1982. I think I looked up. What's the mascot for Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
The
They're just
little
cinnamon
cereal pieces.
people.
Yeah.
That's what it is now. Brian, do you remember what it was originally?
Oh, weren't they little like chef dudes? Weren't they making?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm very glad you said plural because originally
Yeah, those
there
guys.
was more than one.
They
and
tried
then-
to capitalize on the snap crackle pop thing.
I think so.
He
But
looks like- he
very
looks like-
quickly,
He looks like Lil Joe.
he does look like little Joe. So it was these three bakers for the longest time.
Chef
and
Wendell.
Then about 10 years in, at least, I'm looking at a 1991 box here. Two of them died or went missing. They were kidnapped. They got caught in machinery. I'm
They
not
were
sure what
offed.
happened at the factory, but the tall guy and the short guy went missing.
Oh,
They're AWOL, and they stuck with the glasses dude for the longest time.
It's what it
And
is.
then they went with these new little monstrosities that I hate. That are
Yeah.
the little
cannibals.
just cereal. It's like it's so unoriginal. It's just the cereal piece.
Well,
We would comment like the cereal's constantly eating the other cereal. They're like cannibal like characters.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why they changed they got rid of the other two bakers in the 90s was because of their scandal. You didn't hear about that?
they
There's
came
a lot
out
of
as
allegation that came out.
they came out as lovers.
It was the 80s. They both had AIDS. It was
Yeah.
tragic.
Oh,
They
that's
didn't want to talk
horrible.
about
As
it.
we're talking about
they
wholesome
swept-
children's cereal. Come on.
They swept it and the cinnamon dust under the rug.
Yep, exactly. And they left the one old guy left.
Yeah, because
And
normally I
sure
would just say
enough-
they retired, but I think Chef Wendell, was that his name? I think that I saw
Yes.
that his name was he got them out of the picture however he needed
Yeah.
to.
Well, he passed away shortly after in the early 2000s, and that's why they replaced him.
It
Yeah.
must have.
He was caught with a Keebler elf. different company, but yeah, that is funny. I again hadn't. Why is that in my brain? But I do remember they were chefs, and then yeah, now you see them. They're the little like cannibalistic cinnamon toast guys that are eating the
Yeah.
other cinnamon toast. Doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense.
They're always feral as hell too.
They
This is
are.
just yeah. It's hilarious.
Favorite mascots. Favorite cereal
Favorite.
mascots.
I was gonna
They're
say,
great. I mean, that's one everybody
Yeah.
remembers. I don't know that Tony the Tiger was my favorite, but I certainly remember him.
I'm trying to
But
think.
I would think Winston, yours would be Toucan Sam. You
No,
don't think?
no.
I mean, that he didn't like, imprint on your hearts as like, oh
Mm.
my gosh, this is the first greatest American cereal I've ever eaten, and here's this large
Yes.
talking toucan.
Well, there was no ads for it. Remember, I didn't
Oh.
even know what cereal was. But I will tell you the very first cereal mascot I did saw, and that was Apple and Jack, right? From the Apple Jack cereals.
Is that their names?
just- I think so. Well, I don't know. One of them is an apple. The other one's a cinnamon stick with the freaking dreads. It's hilarious.
That's the
and the
90s,
only
2000s.
Okay,
era
I
deal.
don't remember
Yeah.
those guys.
yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. I knew of them because the ads I saw was in 2010s ish when they would do it on Cartoon Networks, and they were cool because you see them like swinging through the grapevines and whatnot, or not the grapevine, just swinging on vines and whatever. But that would be my go-to. But the other one I really did like was the bunny for tricks. Like he's pretty cool too.
Trix Bunny, yeah.
Rabbit.
Yeah, yeah.
Trix Rabbit.
And I mean, I did eat a lot of Captain Crunch. I always got a kick out of the fact that his eyebrows were on his hat. That never made any sense. Like you had,
Did you see
and what is his name?
the-
It's like Ulysses S. Crunch or something is his full name.
right?
His name
but
is
did you see
Horatio. Crunch.
Horatio.
Horatio is hilarious.
Sorry.
Listen, if you want to go down a rabbit hole, there's a whole backstory on Captain. His mom was an Indian. His dad was a Viking.
You mean a Native American? We can't
I'm
say that
sorry.
anymore.
Yeah, come on, man. You're gonna get canceled like those bakers.
Yes. Winston, you
Dang
got to
it.
keep him in check, man.
Yeah, I know, right? No, but I was gonna say, did you hear the theory that he's not even a captain?
Because
It's
of
like-
the rank on
Yeah.
his shoulder.
Was he
Yeah.
Lieutenant Crunch?
Technically not a captain.
Yeah,
I think he's technically an admiral.
yeah. But
Admiral
you
Crunches
can't
sounds
say
kinda
Admiral
cool.
Crunch.
That sounds kind of cool. It doesn't
Yeah,
have the
it's like-
alliteration of Captain Crunch, but
Yeah.
Admiral Crunch.
Okay, real question. Do you guys like Captain Crunch or the Captain Crunch berries?
So in my day, you had the OG Captain Crunch, which would tear the holes in the top of your mouth,
Destroy your mouth.
Destroy your mouth, but they
so
were good.
sharp. Yeah.
Then you had, I don't know if I'm getting the chronology right, but then peanut butter Captain Crunch, which was big in our house, and then you had Captain Crunch with crunch berries
Yeah.
that would then throw those in there, and then you
Yeah.
had what, all
Oops.
berries.
Oops,
All
all
berries.
berries.
All
Yeah,
berries,
oops, all
like there was
berries.
some mishap at the factory, and,
Yeah.
and they oops, all berries.
But again,
Yeah.
everybody forgets all of the other weird varieties.
I was
from the
gonna say,
70s and
what-
80s.
yeah,
There was a
I was-
vanilla Captain Crunch
Gee.
and like with an elephant character. Like there's again, the backstory of Captain Crunch. There's a whole cast and crew that is just long forgotten.
There's a
Oh,
Christmas
man.
Crunch. Did
It
you
had
guys see-
sprinkles in it or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you got to switch it up because, what Frankenberry and Count Chocula, those
And
guys,
Boo Berry.
Boo Berry,
Blueberries.
yeah,
They're back actually. I just saw them at Target the other day.
right.
That's
They
pretty
brought
cool.
those back, yeah.
They just debuted a new character in that line.
Really?
They didn't bring back Fruit Brute this year.
I don't. Yeah,
Um,
Fruit Brute. I think was that part of the original ones because I don't remember Fruit Brute in the original commercials.
He may have came along later. I think he was with a cherry flavored cereal that wasn't
Ew.
super popular.
That's weird. But I remember those when they were just part of the cereal you could pick out.
Carmella Creeper was a newer one.
Mela
don't-
Creeper.
That's this year, yes.
I guess.
Carmella
Yeah.
Creeper. It's a caramel
Caramel?
apple flavored cereal.
Cereal. Let's be honest. Cereal is just candy. Just like
Yes.
the IHOP commercials. I'm like, just admit you're a dessert restaurant. Like stop telling me IHOP with your commercials
but
that
then
you're breakfast. It's
International House
your-
of Burger. Remember when they swapped to?
Oh yeah,
IHOP?
that campaign that like they debuted and like led up to, and then everybody's like, oh, that's lame.
Yeah. No, it's so funny because I went to IHOP to try their burgers. It's like this shit is terrible. Get it out of here.
So So did we land on favorites? Favorite mascots? Did we land
I don't
on
even
any
know if I
particular-
had a favorite, but I definitely
Yeah.
remember them because they were paraded before me. So Winston, you did not get cereal commercials? I mean, that's
No,
why Tony and
cereal
I know all these.
commercial once we got cable, and that wasn't until 2006 when I was like 6-7 years old. So that was when I was able to watch Cartoon Network and Disney Channel finally, and I think that's when I was able to start seeing commercials for cereal. But we can kind of pivot into cartoon now, right?
I wanna hang back a little bit and to see what everyone's favorite stuff is before we.
Okay, yeah, all right. Well, I can talk about it later.
I'm
but
going to
yeah,
say Captain Crunch for mine. What about you, Tony?
I think
Yeah.
I have to go with Tony the Tiger for the
Tony
obvious
the Tiger,
reason.
yeah.
And it solidified it in my mind after learning that the voice, at least the original voice of Tony the Tiger, is a gentleman named Thurl Ravenscroft.
Yeah.
Dope.
He was
last
very
name.
well known for his deep voice and did other things such as You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
He sang
Yep.
that. For me, though, it was his voice in the Disney parks. He did Haunted Mansion. He did voices in Pirates of the Caribbean.
I believe it's
he's
pronounced Caribbean.
all over the park.
That's very cool.
Enchanted Tiki Room, Country Bears. I mean, he's
Wait, do you say Caribbean? Pirates of the Caribbean?
Is that not how you say it?
Well,
I go back
it's-
and forth. I go Caribbean.
I say
Yeah.
Caribbean.
So you say Caribbean?
Yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, see, I've always said normally if I'm saying that word, it's Caribbean, but if we're talking about the attraction, it's Caribbean.
Pirate Caribbean.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah, I can see why you say that. Yeah.
I literally just watched last night the behind the parks on the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction and how it's like popped up at all the parks. It's
Is that
amazing.
part of the
Yeah.
new season 2 that just dropped.
Yes, first
Okay.
episode.
Yeah,
And they said it both ways in the special. The narrator was saying
Good.
Caribbean, but it was mainly Caribbean, but then somebody said Caribbean. So
Which
Mm.
means
Caribbean
it's
makes more
correct
sense.
both ways. If Disney's
Yeah.
releasing it and approving that, then it's correct both ways.
Yeah. It's
I'm glad
canon.
we got that
Yeah.
clarified so I don't mispronounce
So we got
it.
favorite mascots, favorite.
Well, Winston
cereals,
said didn't
though.
say his though.
Well, I couldn't.
Winston, yeah.
I don't have one. I can't say I have one because it's just like, oh, I don't really give a shit what's on the box. I just want to eat what's inside, you know.
Come
Man,
on, that
that's-
was a
part
key
of it is-
marketing. Yeah.
Yeah, part of it was
Yeah.
sitting at the table with the box of cereal and doing whatever activity was on the back of the box and
Oh, that's
and
true.
study and everything. And
I
yeah,
never even thought about our kids today sitting down with a bowl of cereal and looking at their iPads.
Yeah. Or
Oh,
phone.
that's
Yeah. I know. I
that's
do.
very sad.
we're missing like. they
Okay,
don't do-
I'll
they
give
don't
it to
hide
you.
Toys in a box of cereal anymore.
That's
either.
true. They
You used to get a prize in them.
You remember the one with the little metal ball that you can freaking go through the maze?
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I do know what my favorite what my mascot, my cereal mascot is. It's the Flintstone for my freaking Fruity Pebbles.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I freaking love
Fred
them.
and
I see them. Yeah, exactly. I see them enough to where I'm like, I gotta like them. You know.
Wait, Pebbles is not the mascot for Fruity Pebbles?
It's always been Fred and Barney.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Well, no,
Always
are they?
Barney stealing pebbles from Fred in a commercial and Fred screaming at him.
What
Yeah,
about
They
yeah.
have an
Cocoa
abusive
Pebbles?
relationship.
Well, that's yeah.
Gotcha.
Cereal is all about stealing it. You know.
It
Like,
absolutely is. I
Yeah,
don't know why.
either cannibalism with the cinnamon toad scrunch,
real dark.
cinnamon
Cookie-
toad
I mean,
scrunch.
there was a Cookie Crisp cop, for goodness sake.
Yeah,
Who policed the dog from stealing, or the crooks, depending on your time period.
I remember the crooks.
Policed stealing things. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so funny you said that because there's in the TV show Atlanta, there was a parody of a like tricks like cereal where it was like these kid had just stolen this cereal from this fox looking character, and so he's like chasing him and they're like, oh, you silly whatever, this is only for kids. And sure enough, like a police character shows up and just beat the shit out of him.
that's a callback to the Cookie Crisp.
Yeah, and I just thought it was pretty funny. But yeah.
But favorite cereal.
Mm.
We'll move on from the mascots, but we gotta find favorite cereals while we're talking about it.
I still say Fruity Pebbles. That's my go-to.
Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah, I mean, I really for real at a period had cinnamon life is my favorite. Grape nuts
good.
were literally a favorite for a while. I know
Did
that's
you
so-
add anything to them, or was it
probably
just
a cup of
gravel?
sugar. Probably a cup of sugar on top of the
Cup of
grape
sugar
nuts.
is so crazy.
Grape nuts are just edible gravel.
Yeah.
They're bad.
Yeah, no, objectively, I 100% agree with that, but for some reason I loved them. And then there was a cereal too. It was an expensive cereal because it was on the top shelf and it was more expensive and came in a smaller box, and it was called 100% Natural. And it was like had granola and raisins. I mean, I ate a lot of Raisin Bran too, but that was never a favorite. But I've eaten so much cereal in my lifetime. I think the variety, I was always eating different cereal. But those the two I mentioned, the two lamest ones, were ones I landed on for a while.
Right.
I always liked Honey Bunches of Oats. That was a good one.
Yeah.
That was like a fancy cereal to me.
When did that come out? Because I've had it, but I don't. That was not a Saturday morning cereal.
Honey Bunches of Oats.
But I think my favorite, let's see, Honey Bunches of Oats, 1989.
Oh, okay.
1989 Honey Bunches of Oats.
Okay, but do you get the Honey Bunches of Oat or the one with the almonds also in it?
You can go either way. Both good.
Yeah.
Both good. And they got all kind of stuff. I'm looking at a list of varieties. Oh my goodness. We're looking at vanilla bunches with strawberries, with peaches,
yeah.
a raisin medley.
Dessert.
There's all kind of crap here that it's through the years apparently. But hard to find anymore. Rice Krispie Treats cereal.
Oh yeah, I do remember when that came out. But
it was in a teal box at one point in time, and then it was in a purple box at another point in time. But
I never had that. Were those just Rice Krispie Treat size cereal pieces?
It was like more dried out Rice Krispie Treats that were crumbled into pieces, but it was unlike Rice Krispies. This had some sweetness to it. Man, was it good. It's such a good cereal.
You can't find it now, huh?
It's every once in a while they decide to bring it back for short periods, and I gotta like stock up. Yeah,
that's that forced scarcity, man. It's like the McRib.
But
put that available year round, doesn't sell. You make it limited quantities.
Yeah.
People want it.
I think now's a good time to pivot. What we talked about, just being bombarded on TV, and before we get to anything else, the commercials. We talked. It was you go to a commercial break during a show, and it was cereal commercials, toys.
Yeah,
that almost advertised them being able to move on their own.
Yeah, every commercial.
and carpet commercials, of course.
Oh yeah.
The flooring commercial.
Empire.
Yeah. Brian, back me up on this. Part of the memory of Saturday morning cartoons is the bumper.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What's the bumper?
The in and out of commercials,
after these messages
we'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Like they would tell you when they were going to the commercial.
Coming back.
Yeah. And then you'd get your commercial with your mascot, and then back to the cartoons. But also there was a finite amount of time that the cartoons were on. It was always Saturday morning, but then they would go off the air and then go into like different programs that was like educational programs or talk shows or whatever. So like I remember you would get up, you'd have your bowl of cereal in front of the TV and get advertised more cereal, and then watch the cartoons, and then at some point they would end, and that's when it was time to go outside.
Yeah, it was always something lame too. Like I remember they were either going to, as a kid, Saved by the Bell.
Yes,
it's this live action. I don't care anymore. You're getting infomercials.
Yeah,
or it's golf. Like, why are we watching golf?
It was very much a decided end of the cartoons. Like, you see Winston, you had the Disney Channel. Yeah. So it was very abrupt. It was like kids programming, not anymore. It's like, you went straight to like lame programming. So you knew the cartoons were over. Right. I actually saw an article of when the Saturday morning cartoons died.
Oh, really?
And, and I was like, well, let me see. I believe it was 1992-ish. So I was, in high school. So I was not getting up on Saturday morning to watch cartoons. But it was this worry of like, okay, Tony's generation, my generation, of like, we've been like, these kids have been getting up, we've been feeding them sugary cereal, they've been sitting in front of the TV and then advertised to, and then finally somebody's like, hey, maybe that's not the greatest idea. So there were some laws passed that it had to be X amount of educational programming. Mm-hmm. And there was reforms of like, we can't just sit here and advertise to kids. And so there was an actual thing that sort of ended the Saturday morning cartoon block, but also things like the Disney Channel where you could go and watch kids programming, all the time. There was a definite end to it. It was after I had watched it all. I was no longer watching cartoons then, but yeah, I believe it was 1992 is when that happened.
I feel like that didn't really get implemented until much later because I remember, again, I'm the oldest of my siblings. My brother's 4 years younger than me, so I, again, continue to watch stuff probably far past my time. My sister is 12 years younger than me, so I ended up watching stuff with her when she was little. I remember by the time that she was old enough to really be watching cartoons on a Saturday that there was more educational stuff, but I feel like that went on for a lot longer than 1992.
Was that for every channel?
I want to say it was probably for like the networks,
Yeah,
Fox,
yeah,
ABC,
yeah.
NBC.
Because I was gonna say I never experienced that because I grew up watching. I didn't watch TV at all as a kid, and then like when we officially got cable when I was 6 or 7 was when I got access to Cartoon Network and Disney, and that was just straight cartoons and occasionally ads. It's not to the level where it's the ads over here that you guys would get because we'll occasionally get like the cereal ads and stuff, but otherwise from my memory it was just cartoon after cartoon after cartoon, so I could just sit there all day and watch TV. It was really nice.
Well, yeah, I actually remember when this is so bizarre to say, you look back and this sounds fake, but an actual door-to-door salesman came to our house, knocked on the door, and I remember it was the evening, and my dad went outside and was talking to this guy and was out there for a while. And then when he came in, told us how we now were going to have cable. Like there was a door-to-door salesman who sold us cable, and then we got the first cable box, and then an HBO, and like so it's funny you're talking about you getting cable, but I like remember when it was like a new thing of like people go, and then you had to wait for it to get installed, and then there was you got a cable box.
I was gonna ask what it was before you said cable box. I was gonna ask if it was vacuums or Encyclopedia Britannica.
No cable. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, door-to-door vacuum salesman.
Do you remember when there was an actual lock on the cable box to unlock things?
Yeah, oh yeah.
There was an actual key that you'd put in to unlock.
I don't remember that. I remember you could get a card and somehow like hack it immediately once cable started. People started trying to figure out ways to get things for free and more channels and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
that's pretty funny.
Let's pull it back down to the dregs here. Speaking of cable, remember when you'd go to the channels late at night and try to see something through the static?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did that, Winston? You had that type of cable of where you could see?
Yeah, it was DirecTV. I didn't know it was a thing. I was just like, oh, I can't sleep. I want to see what's on HBO. Like I always do, because remember, I was a kid who will watch a lot of movies. Click freaking HBO, and I was like, why is there porn on my TV? It's a new world. I was like, first of all,
wait, you had it, or did you see like you thought, hey, I think I saw something. It's squiggly and blurry, but I swear
no, it was not blurry at all. You go to the page and it was just porn on your TV.
No, we didn't have that.
He's talking satellite. Satellite was a different story.
Oh. Yeah. Cable.
Wait, you had access to everything on satellite? They didn't have channels blocked?
No, I mean
not on his.
Clearly, yeah. His dad
but cable was different.
Package.
Cable in Vietnam was different. There was no blurry stuff. They didn't have that at all. I guess it's because it was in Vietnam. But even movies were super censored. Like I remember watching Titanic, because I remember, if you remember the original cut of Titanic, it shows like Kate Winslet naked, right? Like
Draw Me Like a French Girl.
Yeah. But on the cable version of it in Vietnam, they cut out that sequence or they crop the screen to where you don't see her boobs anymore. But I don't remember if it's cropped or if it was cut. But I remember watching the DVD version because my parents owned the DVD of it, and I put it on. I was like, her boobs is totally just on the screen. Like I didn't know this was here. It's freaking nice. I was like, Titanic.
So wait, so what was censored? Because you're saying you went once you got satellite, nothing was censored because you're pulling in TV from around the world?
No, satellite was when I was in the US already. I got DirecTV when I was over here. I was like 12.
Satellite stuff would have had like the Playboy channel and things on it.
Oh, really?
I mean, I remember scrolling through stuff. We didn't. Those were usually like pay-per-view type channels.
Pay channel, yeah.
But they were. I mean, they're listed on the guide.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can click the guide button, you can go through all the channels, and it was like, I remember having DirecTV for a short period of time, and I clicked the guide button, went to HBO late one night, and that's when I said, like, because we had HBO in our package where we can watch movie, and I clicked on it. It was just porn.
Oh,
And I
so that's
remember-
where you saw.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were
But-
talking about like other channels. Gotcha.
Right,
You're talking
right.
about full access HBO.
but
Skinamax effect,
Yeah,
Yes.
but it was hilarious because I remember I would have been like 14, 15 at this point. I put it on, and then but it was a documentary type of thing. And then all of a sudden you got this guy shows up, and it's like his title is Porn Historian. It's like, that's a dope ass job. Like, you're a porn historian.
All right, let's move away from this back to
Yeah.
cartoons.
Yeah, we were talking about cartoons, man.
We moved
Cartoons
somehow
is
in
zero.
5 minutes from Saturday morning cartoons to porn historian.
Oh,
It's a
Um,
It was-
that's a jump.
scrambly channels. Yeah.
What was
That's-
everybody's favorite Saturday morning cartoons that they remember?
see,
So-
that's hard for me to answer.
I'll start. Me
Okay.
and my brother, we talked Power Rangers last week. Not a cartoon, but Saturday morning programming for
You,
sure.
you talked
Mm.
Power Rangers. I
No,
didn't
we
listen
talk
to
Power
it.
Ranger.
Go back to we.
Yeah.
So definitely got up Saturday mornings to watch that, but it very quickly evolved into, again, mid 90s anime craze took over.
Oh,
And while me and my brother were definitely into Pokemon, man, were we into Digimon.
oh,
And
Digimon
that was
good.
a
Yeah.
priority Saturday
Those
morning.
okay, so those came on. See, yeah, that's that. I was well past that. That I didn't even know those cartoons were airing on the.
They aired on Fox, and yeah, we were up every Saturday in time to watch Digimon.
Oh my
That's so
gosh,
cool.
do you this? You said Fox. I remember when Fox became a new channel.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
Fox
geez.
wasn't always one of the big
Yeah,
networks. It was
yeah.
a new channel, and it was, I think it was out of
80s?
Chicago. Yeah. And suddenly you could get, I don't want to say it was like channel 32. I don't know why I would remember that, but and that was a new channel. So yeah, they're opened up more
That's so-
options to see
That's
stuff on.
so
Yeah.
funny that you're talking about it, because I remember learning about it in school, because like film school, so they talked about like when Fox became a big network, and I'm like,
Mhm.
that's so weird to hear like a firsthand experience of
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
getting
because,
a new channel. Yeah,
I mean, before we got
Mm.
cable, you did have the 3 channels, the major networks, and maybe, public access somewhere.
yeah.
But you would watch the programming on there, and that's, and in real time. Now kids get up, a kid could get up and be like, I'm gonna watch the entire first season of Phineas and Ferb play.
yeah.
You're not waiting
It's
for
amazing.
cartoon.
I love it.
It is start to finish. You could watch all of that.
But it is
But-
weird just to think it used to be NBC, ABC, CBS, and you probably had PBS.
PBS, yes, that's true.
yeah.
And it was that for the longest time. And then out of nowhere, Fox comes in, and it's the new network, and it's
Yeah.
just as big as the other ones, which is bizarre to come in and be like, I'm your equal.
Yeah.
But with the programming that it had, it was. And it's
Well,
weird, I think, for
clearly
me,
with three networks, that was only, so that's where you went for cartoons, right? Because they had different ones, or they had these anime ones.
I remember watching a lot of cartoons on Fox. By the time that I was watching Saturday morning cartoons, I don't remember CBS really having any. NBCs weren't great. Again, they were trying to mix in Saved by the Bell and call that Saturday morning kids programming. I'm going,
Yeah, I think
"You're
that
not
was
fooling
part of
anybody."
I think because those shows had an educational component,
Hmm.
despite how cheesy they were. Let's not get addicted to diet pills and whatnot. Did you ever see that show, Winston?
No,
Saved by the
didn't have
Bell?
that.
Okay.
Mm.
There was a hilarious episode where one of the characters got addicted to speed, I think, or diet pills, and she was.
Really?
Was that
yeah.
Screech?
No, that was Jesse Spano. That was
Oh, yeah.
with Berkeley's character. So you
Oh,
could,
jeez.
yeah,
Man.
she
In the
she got-
90s, the coolest characters.
Yeah.
Zach Morris, AC Slater. I mean, Kelly.
Yeah.
My,
Kelly
my buddy,
Kapowski.
my buddy Scott told me one time, and I wasn't, again, I'm telling you now, didn't watch a lot of Saved by the Bell, but it was so pervasive that, of course, you knew who the characters were.
Right.
He told me one time that AC Slater, the AC stood for always cool. And I just believed him for years. I went,
Hey man,
he was
Mario
the coolest
Lopez
character,
went
what do
on.
you want? Yeah.
Yeah, man, he went on to host. What did he host? So, like Entertainment Tonight or something. I don't know. Mario Lopez is like the perpetual host. Good for him for making a career out of it.
That's so funny.
And then Zach Morris, I just saw he's like some like crazy serial killer guy in some show now. Like he's like, yeah.
Well,
He's-
his Saved by the Bell shtick became a meme.
Yeah.
Winston,
really?
the whole, like, in the show, he used to just stop time and like break the fourth wall and be like, so you're probably wondering how I got here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's him.
That's
He
him.
well, he very
Oh.
it reminded me of like if you were gonna make a cartoon out of Ferris Bueller, you know, it was like that was kind of like
Okay.
Ferris was the cool kid in school, Zach Morris was the cool kid in school.
Gotcha.
How did this
gotcha.
turn into a Saved by the Bell podcast?
Yeah,
I'm
who knows?
Winston's like, I've never seen any of
I've
these.
never seen
Okay,
it.
Fox cartoons.
Fox
Talking
cartoons.
about-
By the time I was a kid too, ABC had been bought by Disney,
So you got
so you were
Disney
getting a lot of
cartoon?
Disney
Yeah.
programming on ABC on Saturday mornings, which was good. Man, Bobby's World on Fox,
Never saw
X-Men
it.
and Spider-Man. I mean, that's where your
Ooh.
Marvel cartoons were
Yeah.
on Fox.
Yeah.
Eek the Cat.
Man, I don't remember any of these. These are all
These are definitely millennial.
Yeah, no, because I watched a lot of Flintstones. I remember watching a lot of Flintstones. That was, but you would watch them all. Like I didn't have, I even watched there. There was for a period of time I would watch it. This was after school, and then you'd have a little bit of after school program cartoons. And I remember watching the Jackson 5 cartoon. They had a
That's a
Jackson
thing?
5 cartoon. Yeah, that was like the Jackson brothers. This was when Michael Jackson was huge.
Uh,
They actually
Fat
had
Albert?
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you watch Fat Albert?
Loved
Yeah.
Fat Albert. Not that I mean
Hey.
that song is a jam.
Yeah.
I mean, the Fat Albert theme is such a jam. Oh, I almost said certified banger to be funny because I don't say those things, but I do want to tell Winston that I've been working in Phantom Tax, and my
Oh,
daughter
yeah?
absolutely hates it. She's like, "Will you stop saying that?"
You watch any He-Man or anything good?
Oh, I did watch He-Man.
Oh, He-Man was
that was my
great,
era,
yeah.
and then GI Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I played with I had a bunch of He-Man characters. I had Castle Grayskull.
that
Yeah.
was
And-
Brian's era of cartoons was just 20-minute
Toys.
commercials.
Oh,
exactly.
That's all there
hilarious.
was. You went, oh, He-Man, GI
Yeah.
Joe.
Yep.
That's
Transformer or no?
Transformers. Exactly. That's
Yeah.
Transformers was just a 20-minute
Yeah.
long commercial.
Now I'm looking back. I'm like, wait a second. all of these cartoons we're talking about were for toys that I had a lot of. I
Yeah.
mean, GI Joe started off Star Wars. Wasn't a Star Wars cartoon. I guess that was too early. Or
but
was there?
were-
Well,
were-
not.
There was droids and Ewoks, Brian.
But that was post me cartooning, I guess. I don't
That
remember
was-
watching those because
that
I
was-
totally would have watched those.
Early 80s, early mid 80s.
Man, I did not watch those. I don't know. I guess I didn't know when they played because I would have totally watched that because I was love Star Wars. But anyway, then moved into GI Joe and then He-Man and then Masters of the Universe. That's really funny now. That's like it was 100% marketing. That's all it was.
I'm trying to think what I watched as a kid. So okay, I didn't have a Saturday morning programming with like you guys where it was just like here's these sets of cartoons. Because when I got cable again, it was just like I can get access to cartoon all the time with minimum amount of ads, which is great. So I think a lot of the time the stuff I watched was like Samurai Jack and Powerpuff Girls and Dexter Laboratory. Oh, that was my favorite.
Ed, Ed,
No, Johnny Bravo has to be
Johnny
like
Bravo's
one
good.
of my favorite freaking cartoon of all time. He was just a douche. It's hilarious, you know.
I never understood. I was like, wait a second, why is he Elvis?
Exactly,
Like, yeah.
exactly. It's
I never
hilarious.
that was after my time, but I would see commercials. I'm like, I don't understand why you got this guy
And
who's like talking like
Going back
Elvis.
and watching that is disturbing because it was just like he was
It was just
weird-
sexual harassment. That's all it
He
was.
hung out with his best friend was a little girl,
Yeah,
like a 5-year-old girl, and his other friend was his mom.
yeah,
he had some
It was
issues.
weird, man.
yeah.
Oh,
He
yeah,
comes up to women. He's like, "Hey, mama." It's just like,
Well, you had
Ah.
going back to I watched a lot of Looney Tunes too. You go back to Pepe Le Pew. Oh, Tom and Jerry. I watched a ton
Tom
of
and Jerry's
Jerry.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
yeah,
yeah.
Pepe Le Pew was like straight up, harassing women.
yeah, yeah,
Physically harassing women.
yeah.
And it was supposed to be because he was a French Casanova.
Ah,
But yeah, you look back and you're like, yeah, that's not okay, dude.
Yeah.
These girls were clearly not interested in you.
Right. And then what else did I watch? I watched a lot of Ben 10. I think like these are like
These are
I'm telling you-
Nickelodeon ones, right?
No, these are Cartoon Networks, and I'm telling you right now, these are like if you ask any kid around my age, like Gen Z in general, they would consider it like the golden age of cartoon. Like that stretch from 2008 to 2010 where, or even prior to '08, where you were just getting all the good stuff. You get like Chowder on Disney, right? I think
So
no,
you're
that's
talking
Cartoon Network.
if like Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Lab,
Those are our
Cow and
Cartoon
Cow and
Networks.
Chicken, Ed, Ed and
Yeah,
Eddie.
yeah,
You're
Geez, you guys
talking
just sound like you're shouting out random things.
that's
Courage the
hilarious.
Cowardly Dog. That's like
Courage the Cowardly Dog is
that's
great.
the
Yeah,
that's the golden age of Cartoon Network. That's when they were
yeah,
called cartoons.
yeah. That's right.
Oh
Those
wow.
are great.
And once you
Yeah.
start getting into Chowder and other things, you're looking at
Chowder.
silver, maybe bronze age.
Oh,
Like
really?
you're a generation or two away already.
Okay, yeah,
Oh,
'cause so I
Chowder
would
was
consider the
great, though.
golden age the early. Yeah, you said whatever. What'd you say? Rescue Dog? What was it?
Courage the Cowardly
Courage
Dog.
Dog. You had Underdog, like was one of the cartoons I watched a lot as a kid.
Underdog.
Adamant. Ooh.
Wait, Underdog
Yeah.
sounds so familiar. Hold on.
Now again, before Cartoon Network started having their own original programming, that's what Cartoon Network was. And original Cartoon Network spun off into another channel called Boomerang, where it was
Oh yeah, that has all the classic cartoons
it's
now.
just
Yeah,
all the Hanna-Barbera stuff.
Hanna-Barbera. Yep.
Ah, okay.
So
Yogi
that's where you're looking
Bear.
at Yogi Bear.
That's right,
Adam
Yogi Bear.
Ant.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
the
those
80s
are-
music star,
No.
which I don't know if Tony, you get that Adamant?
Yes.
No. Okay. Yeah, Winston. He was I would say he was probably a 1 or 2 hit wonder of the 80s. This random British guy that dressed up like a pirate from the he could walk right onto the set of Pirates of the Caribbean and like fit in. Yeah. It was this British guy with like he had like Native American war paint on his face, but then he dressed like a pirate.
Yeah.
And he had 1 or 2 songs in the 80s.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, the 80s were weird, man. The 80s,
Yeah.
like we got also. I remember when MTV started, and I remember, like I got exposed to a lot of music videos as a kid, and since there wasn't a ton of music videos, MTV put on a lot of stuff, and it was a lot of weird stuff from Europe. And you'd start watching these videos, you'd be like, "What?"
Those is it the electronic music from Europe? I love like those house
Euro house music.
Yeah, Euro house music.
Oh, that's later. That's much later.
Oh, okay.
That's late 90s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, all this, we start talking about these things and we're so removed. It makes me feel ancient. I don't think we're that far apart, but then
we
you're
are.
About
but we are. It's just,
no, you are ancient.
Yeah, you're like those words you guys are saying, those cartoons, foreign words.
Foreign words,
I was
yeah.
just like, come on, man.
But I'm thinking about talking about. I remember when Nickelodeon started as a channel.
Now, do you remember it as Nickelodeon, or do you remember Pinwheel, which was the original name of the station? Some Nickelodeon trivia. It started as Pinwheel, and then it became Nickelodeon, and it was you had.
Man,
you can't say that. You can't say that on.
Can't
television.
say that on television. Yeah, I watched that. Kids getting slimed all the time, but that was I guess when I was moving into my tweens is when that came on, and yeah, watched that every day.
Yeah,
like, that was the birth of it, and then I would say again, we're talking golden age. Like golden age of Nickelodeon to me is whenever it became its own channel, when you had Doug and Rugrats and Snick on set. We talk Saturday morning. Let's talk Saturday night. Snick. Ooh, Saturday night. Nick. Are you afraid of the dark? Clarissa explains it all.
Saturday night for me was a lot of anime cartoon, which is weird. Like it was the opposite of you guys, where I started getting stuff like Dragon Ball and Gundam and stuff like that.
So Cartoon Network had Toonami.
That's what it was. Yeah, Toonami was great. Yeah,
that was before Cartoon Network started doing Adult Swim at night. You got a lot of Toonami. And
this is really funny to kind of look at as an overview. Is so at the end of the 90s, they were trying to regulate the amount of TV kids watched in the morning, right?
Yeah,
and then there was no kid programming. I mean, I watched what we were talking about. You can't do that on television, and there was some cartoons after school. I never watched cartoons at night. That was not a thing. Yeah, and so I, as a result, didn't watch a ton of TV at night.
It wasn't even on Nickelodeon. You get to 9 o'clock on Nickelodeon on a school night, and it switched to Nick at Night, and you're watching I Dream of Jeannie and Gilligan's Island, which that's another episode, because I could go on about watching monsters and things like that on Nick at Night, because it was.
Is that where the George Lopez show was on? Is that Nick at Night?
No, Nick at Night was like a lot of black and white shows.
Well, no, really? I think, but
Andy Griffith.
And this was all stuff that was on. Yeah, I watched.
Okay.
I watched the Munsters, but I watched them during the day.
Well, I was gonna say I couldn't relate because we never got Nickelodeon in Vietnam. Like. Right. It was just one of the channels that was missing, and because of that reason, I didn't have the same childhood as a lot of my friends because I couldn't watch SpongeBob. I never saw SpongeBob growing up.
SpongeBob's been around since like the 90s, right? I was in
Yeah.
Florida and I remember kids being obsessed with SpongeBob.
Yeah.
I remember when SpongeBob started. There's certain big shows like that I remember watching. Like I remember watching the premiere of SpongeBob.
That's hilarious.
I remember because of my brother's age. I remember watching the premiere episode of Blue's Clues. I remember when it started.
So I
That's
didn't watch
crazy.
Blue's Clues as a kid, but my kids watched it, and there was something very you had to love Steve. He was just, you know,
Okay, we
trying to
can't
be
go down a rabbit
cutesy.
hole. It's
Yeah.
childhood programming is another episode. I'm gonna wrap us up.
I'm gonna go get some cereal.
Everybody's hungry for cereal. I'd like to thank our watchers of last episode.
Oh yeah, super
Nice.
excited about
We
that.
got some nice comments on the YouTube channel. People who've watched along and backed me up that Tootsie Rolls are good, and that those weird peanut butter chews are garbage.
Totally gross.
We got a nice. If you want some information about Halloween in Germany, I got a buddy in Germany.
Gave us this breakdown in the comments. That was great.
Got a breakdown of what Halloween's like over on the other side.
They hand out schnitzel. It's weird.
We talked nicknames before. He had a good nickname. His name's Doug, and he signed something for me one time and misspelled his full name. So he didn't sign it Douglas. It said Dougals, and that was forever his name. So my buddy
Dougals.
Dougals over in Germany
Douglas
us
the
a-
clown is what that
Dougals,
sounds like.
yeah.
Douglas the clown.
sent us a nice bit on there. So a shout out to them. Thank you for listening. We're back to just audio again this week. If you liked the video podcast, let us know. Send us an email, leave us a comment somewhere. Maybe we'll make
Those
it more of a
satin
regular
pajamas,
thing.
yeah, the satin pajamas deserve to be seen by the world.
I did. I dressed up again this week. Rate and subscribe wherever you're listening. That helps us. That helps you not miss new episodes when they come out. We only come out every 2 weeks. So if you subscribe, you don't have to remember. It'll just download it for you. Tell a friend. If you're liking this, get us more listeners. We'd appreciate it. Our pictures. The pictures are finally up on the website. You can go to the About Us section on our website, which is podcastxyzxwhyz.podbean.com. You go up to the top of that page where it says pages and check out all the things that we talked about on this and past episodes. Check out all the links on Winston's watch and listen list, and go see us on the About Us page. You can also visit us on our socials. We're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube. Otherwise, we will talk to everybody in 2 weeks.
Thanks for listening, everybody. See you later.
Yeah.